fairy waved her magic wand and transformed the pumpkin into a carriage. The lizards became horses. The rat was turned into a coachman. Then she turned her wand to Cinderella. In a flash, her rags became a beautiful glittering ball gown, complete with a delicate pair of glass slippers. Soon, she was on her way to the palace. She remembered the warning her fairy godmother had given her. Be home by midnight, because at that time, everything will turn back to the way it was before. All of the guests admired Cinderella and thought she was an unknown princess. The prince asked her to dance, and they spent the whole evening together. It was as if time had stopped for them. The prince gazed into Cinderella's eyes and offered her the best sweets and fruit. When Cinderella met her stepmother and the sisters, she spoke to them politely and shared with them some fruit that the prince had given her. They were pleased because they didn't recognize Cinderella. Cinderella was so happy, she forgot about the time. Suddenly, the palace clock started to chime midnight. She ran out of the ballroom and down the long palace steps, losing one of her glass slippers on her way. The prince ran after her, but all he found was the glass slipper on the stairway. Cinderella hid in the shadows, crying. The prince decided to find his beautiful stranger. The slipper was so tiny that it could only fit her. A proclamation was issued to search the kingdom for the prince's bride. The next morning, the sisters boasted about making friends with the mysterious princess. Their mother told them about the proclamation and that the heralds were looking for a girl whose foot would fit the lost slipper. When the royal heralds arrived at the mansion, the stepmother sent Cinderella away. The two sisters tried to squeeze their feet into the slipper, but all their efforts were in vain. The heralds then noticed another girl hiding in the corner and commanded her to try the slipper on. Cinderella's foot fit perfectly into the slipper. At that very moment, the fairy godmother appeared and once more turned Cinderella's rags into the beautiful gown she had worn to the ball. The heralds were sure they had found the prince's bride. When Cinderella was taken to the palace, the prince rushed out to greet her. They both realized that from that moment, they couldn't be apart for even a second. The next day, the prince proposed to Cinderella, and they lived happily ever after.